Have you ever walked into a home, maybe even your own, and felt like it looked exactly like a Pinterest board from 5 years ago in a way that's not a compliment? Like everything is technically on trend. Everything is clean, coordinated, even pretty. But somehow it all feels dated at the same time? And here's the real question most people don't ask. How did millions of homes end up looking so similar? And why did so many of those trends age so badly, so quickly? Because this wasn't random. This wasn't just people having the same taste. This was the result of something much bigger. Something that completely changed how design trends spread in America. And that something was Pinterest. For the first time in history, everyday homeowners had access to an endless stream of perfect interiors, beautiful, curated, highly shareable images that looked like they came straight out of a magazine. But there was one key difference. Magazines used to filter trends. Pinterest didn't. It amplified them. Instantly. Exponentially. And without context. And that's where things started to go wrong. Because when a design idea goes viral on a platform like Pinterest or Instagram, it's not because it's timeless. It's not because it works in every home. It's because it photographs well. It's because it's easy to recognize in a split second. It's because it triggers something in your brain that makes you want to save it, pin it, share it. And those are very different criteria than what actually makes a space feel good to live in over time. So what happened is this. A handful of very specific design elements, simple, repeatable, visually distinct, got picked up by the algorithm and then copied at scale across millions of homes. Not adapted, not interpreted, copied. And when you copy the same idea enough times, in enough places, it stops feeling special. It starts feeling generic. And eventually it starts feeling dated. Today we're going to break down the exact decor trends that followed this pattern. The ones that started on Pinterest, spread like wildfire, and quietly made entire homes feel stuck in a very specific moment in time. And more importantly, we're going to understand why they spread, why they failed, and how to avoid making the same mistake with whatever trend is going viral right now. Let's start with one of the most recognizable and probably the most debated trend of the past decade. Shiplap. There was a time when shiplap felt fresh, rustic, authentic. It gave homes that farmhouse warmth that so many people were craving. And in the right context, an actual farmhouse, a coastal home, a space with architectural history, it worked. It added texture. It told a story. But then Pinterest got hold of it, and suddenly shiplap wasn't a detail anymore. It was a default. It was on every wall, in every room, in homes that had absolutely no architectural reason for it to be there. Suburban houses built in 2012 suddenly had farmhouse feature walls. Apartments had faux shiplap panels glued onto drywall. And what started as a material with context turned into a surface-level aesthetic applied everywhere. And here's why that matters. When you take something that's supposed to feel authentic and apply it artificially, repeatedly, and without context, it loses the very quality that made it appealing in the first place. Instead of feeling warm and real, it starts to feel staged, predictable, and eventually outdated. Now let's talk about another one that followed a very similar trajectory, but for a completely different reason. Chevron. Chevron wasn't about authenticity. It was about visual impact. It's bold, it's geometric, it grabs your attention immediately. And that's exactly why it exploded on Pinterest. Because patterns that are instantly recognizable tend to perform extremely well on visual platforms. But here's the problem with high-impact patterns. They don't age quietly. Chevron was everywhere: rugs, pillows, curtains, wallpaper, even furniture. And for a moment, it felt modern, energetic, different. But because it's such a strong visual statement, it also became exhausting very quickly. Your eye doesn't get to rest. The pattern demands attention constantly. And over time, what felt exciting starts to feel overwhelming. This is one of the key lessons of Pinterest-driven design. The things that look the most striking in a small image on your phone are often the hardest to live with in a full-size room every single day. Now let's move into something that feels almost nostalgic at this point. Mason jars. There was a moment where mason jars weren't just containers, they were everything. Light fixtures, soap dispensers, vases, storage solutions, decor pieces, entire wedding themes. And again, it made sense at first. They were affordable, versatile. They had that rustic charm that aligned perfectly with the farmhouse aesthetic. But the problem wasn't the mason jars themselves, it was the overuse. When every single decorative object in a home follows the same theme, the space starts to feel like it's trying too hard, like it's leaning on one idea instead of building a layered environment. And that's exactly what happened. Homes didn't just have a few mason jar accents, they became mason jar environments. And once something crosses that line, from accent to identity, it becomes very difficult to evolve the space without replacing everything. Which is exactly why so many of these homes now feel frozen in time. Now, here's where things get even more subtle because not all Pinterest trends were loud or obvious. Some of them were actually quite minimal. Clean, even safe. And one of the best examples of that is subway tile. At first glance, subway tile seems like the opposite of a trend. It's classic. It's been around for over a century. It's simple, neutral, and versatile. So how did something so timeless end up feeling overdone? The answer is scale and uniformity. Subway tile became the default backsplash in kitchens and bathrooms across America. Same size, same layout, same white color, same gray grout. And when you see the exact same combination repeated in thousands of homes, it stops feeling classic and starts feeling formulaic. It's not that subway tile is bad, it's that it was used without variation, without personality, without adaptation to the specific space. And that's the pattern you're starting to see across all of these trends. It's not the idea itself that's the problem, it's the way it gets adopted at scale. Now let's talk about one that might be the most obvious and maybe the most polarizing of them all. Word art. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Live, laugh, love, gather. Bless this home. Words printed on wood signs, metal signs, canvas prints, placed in kitchens, living rooms, entryways. And again, there's a reason this trend exploded. Words are immediate. You don't have to interpret them. You don't have to think about what they mean. The message is right there. And on a platform like Pinterest, where people are scrolling quickly, that kind of instant clarity performs incredibly well. But in a real home, something interesting happens. When you replace visual storytelling with literal statements, the space loses depth. Instead of creating a feeling through design, through color, texture, light, you're telling people how to feel. And that tends to come across as less personal, not more. A room that feels warm doesn't need a sign that says welcome. A dining room that brings people together doesn't need a sign that says gather. The best spaces communicate those ideas without spelling them out. And that's where we start to see the deeper issue with Pinterest-driven trends. They prioritize immediate recognition over lasting experience. They're designed to be consumed quickly, not lived in slowly. And once you understand that, you start to see why so many of these trends followed the exact same life cycle. They rise fast, spread everywhere, and then just as quickly they start to feel dated. Not because they were ever bad, but because they were overexposed. Now here's the part that most people don't realize, and it's what ties all of this together. These trends didn't just change how homes looked, they changed how people made decisions. Before platforms like Pinterest, decorating a home was a slower process. You gathered ideas over time, you lived in your space, you made adjustments. But Pinterest compressed that entire process into a single scroll session. Suddenly, you could see hundreds of finished rooms in minutes, and that created a new kind of pressure, the pressure to make your home look finished immediately. And that pressure is what leads people to copy instead of curate. Because copying is faster, it's easier, it feels safer, but it also removes the one thing that makes a space feel timeless: individuality. Now here is where things get even more interesting. Because once you start to see how these trends spread, you begin to realize something slightly uncomfortable. It wasn't just the platform's shaping taste, it was the speed. It was ruse. Before platforms like Pinterest and Instagram, design trends moved slowly. They started in high-end design circles, filtered through magazines, got picked up by retailers, and eventually reached the average home over the course of years. That delay acted like a quality filter. By the time something reached mass adoption, it had already been tested, refined, and, most importantly, adapted to real homes. But social media eliminated that filter entirely. Suddenly, a trend could go from a single-styled photo shoot to millions of homes in a matter of months. No testing, no adaptation, no pause to ask, does this actually work long-term? And that speed created a new kind of problem, what designers call aesthetic saturation. When something appears everywhere all at once, it stops feeling special. it starts feeling expected. And then, almost overnight, it starts feeling dated. Think about how fast farmhouse decor took over. Within a few years, entire neighborhoods began to look visually identical. The same signs, the same textures, the same color palettes, repeated over and over again. And here's the key insight most people miss. Trends don't die because they're ugly. They die because they become predictable. Once your brain can anticipate what it's about to see, the emotional response disappears. And when the emotional response disappears, the design feels empty. This is exactly why so many Pinterest-born trends aged so poorly. They weren't designed to evolve, they were designed to spread. Now let's talk about something even deeper, the psychological trap that keeps people repeating this cycle. Because even knowing all of this, people still fall into the same pattern over and over again. A new trend appears, it feels fresh, it feels exciting, it feels like the missing piece. And without realizing it, people begin recreating it in their own homes, believing they are making a personal design choice when they are actually participating in a mass movement. And here's the twist. The more perfect the trend looks online, the more dangerous it is in real life. Because those images you see on Pinterest, they are styled, controlled, edited. They are designed for the camera, not for living. Lighting is perfect. Clutter is removed. Proportions are adjusted. Real life doesn't look like that. And when you try to replicate it exactly, something always feels slightly off. This is why people end up with homes that look good in photos, but feel uncomfortable in reality. So the question becomes, how do you avoid this? How do you create a home that feels current without becoming a time capsule of whatever trend happened to be popular the year you decorated it? The answer is surprisingly simple, but it requires a shift in how you think about design entirely. Instead of chasing trends, you start paying attention to patterns. Not visual patterns like chevron, but historical patterns, the life cycle of trends. Because once you understand that life cycle, you can predict what will age well and what won't. Here's the pattern, and once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Trends that are highly specific, specific textures, specific words, specific shapes, specific materials used in very specific ways, tend to age quickly. Shiplap is specific, word art is specific, mason jar lighting is specific. They lock your home into a particular moment in time, but broader design principles, those last. Things like contrast, balance, texture, warmth, proportion, layering these don't go out of style because they're not tied to a single aesthetic moment. They're tied to how humans experience space. So instead of asking, what's trending right now, the better question becomes, what will still feel intentional 5 years from now? And this is where everything starts to click. Because when you shift your focus from trends to principles, your decisions change. You stop buying items because they're popular, and you start choosing them because they contribute to a feeling. You stop copying rooms and you start building environments. And that's the difference between a home that ages gracefully and a home that feels outdated almost overnight. Now let's bring this full circle with a simple framework you can actually use. Before you bring anything new into your home, whether it's decor, furniture, or even a small accessory, ask yourself 3 questions. First, is this something I've seen everywhere recently? If the answer is yes, that's your first warning sign. Second, does this piece stand on its own or does it rely on a larger trend to make sense? And third, if I removed every other trendy item from my home, would this still feel right? If it passes those 3 tests, you're probably making a decision that will hold up over time. If it doesn't, you might be buying into something that will look very different to you in just a few years. And here's the part most people don't expect. Avoiding trends doesn't mean your home will feel boring. It actually does the opposite. It makes your home feel more like you, more specific, more layered, more real. Because instead of following a template, you're building something that reflects your own preferences, your own experiences, your own sense of comfort. That's what people respond to when they walk into a space and think, this feels good. It's not the trend, it's the intention behind it. So the next time you find yourself scrolling, saving images, feeling that urge to recreate what you're seeing, pause for a second. Ask yourself whether you're being inspired or influenced. Because those are not the same thing. And if this video made you look at your home and your decisions a little differently, then you already understand what this channel is about. This isn't about chasing what's popular. It's about understanding what works, what lasts, what actually makes a space feel better to live in. So if you want more of that, more clarity, more insight, more ideas that don't expire in 6 months, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and stick around. Because the next video is going to challenge another design habit that almost everyone gets wrong. And once you see it, you won't be able to ignore it.